right? Incoming!
Hey guys, welcome to Cartoon Chat. I'm Brian Swan, joined alongside Austin. Find him on Ajet on YouTube, Twitter, SoundCloud, Facebook, anywhere else that I'm missing.
No, but I must say that I am currently out of commission on my YouTube channel until I either get a new microphone or get a new computer. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this thing working even on my Mac. It doesn't work. It's weird.
But it'll work on my apprentice's computer for some reason.
Anyway, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. I'm glad that we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Now, of course, the main thing is going to be Class of 3000. That's something that we'll get into, and I'm very excited to get into as well. But I want to talk about a couple of big things that are happening in the sort of world, not sort of world, the world, in the past few weeks. Let's get into the first one, Steven Universe album. We got news about it. I was so surprised that this was actually happening. It's not something that you'd think would happen. I mean, I was hoping that would happen, but it was like a dream.
I was expecting it.
I
was like, because a lot of people have been demanding the crap out of it.
Right.
And since we're talking about the Class of 3000, I haven't seen an album come out of Cartoon Network since Class of 3000. Yeah. Class of 3000 was the only show that I know of, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody,
it probably
that had its own album that was put out in stores, and I bought the CD and I had performed one of the songs at a talent show when I was in middle school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm really excited for it because the preview that they had played in the video, it sounds like a slightly remixed version of the original theme.
Yeah.
But not just like the extended theme that we heard at Comic-Con, but like the original theme.
Yeah. Because
it sounded strangely starry.
Right.
Know?
If you guys don't know, obviously, I mean, would that be the next season? Could that be the next season's theme?
I don't know.
That's if you guys don't know, Steven Universe has sort of altered or just tweaked, their theme song every season. There's always something new to expect out of it, and I think that's always awesome. So watch out for the next season, and then I'm just excited to be able to buy officially an album from Steven Universe and play it in my car and that sort of thing, and just have it all in one. I hope that I'm sure there's a CD coming.
Of course there's going to be a CD coming, but
it can't just be
I want them to pull a Skrillex and put out the entire album on cassette. That would be so dope. Skrillex legitimately did that.
That would be ridiculously awesome.
Put it out on cassette. Put it out on vinyl. Because that's the miles Skrillex went to for his most recent album, which was Recess.
But it wasn't only.
Yeah, it was on CD. It was on cassette. It was on vinyl.
And iTunes and all
and digital download. Because I feel like they make bank on a cassette and vinyl setting.
I definitely could see a vinyl getting a lot of people hyped. I don't know about cassette. Cassette is awesome. I love it. There's a niche, and then there's cassette. And that's just that small. It's lower. It's smaller than vinyl. It's like people who remember cassette and actually want to play it.
Yeah,
because there are people that like CDs and love the way that they work.
But on the cassette versions, what they got to do is they'll put Greg's songs.
Oh my god!
Yes, put kind of like an homage to his old songs.
Because it would be that would.
Tell me that wouldn't be dope.
That would be sweet. That would be awesome. Man. See now I'm already hyped for this, but if they had hypothetically did that, now I'm
even more hyped.
Man, I just can't wait to get the CD. It comes out June 2nd. All we have to do is completely get through May and then survive 2 more days, and we'll be good. So
I believe Steven Universe is coming back next week. I'm not sure.
I know Adventure Time has its mini-series in April 24th. So that will be on its way as well. I don't know about Steven Universe. I usually keep track of the schedule, but in the past
we can't really keep track of the schedule because it's always on hiatus.
and hiatus. That's a good point. very. I don't know. The way that Cartoon Network is stylizing itself is so weird. And we'll talk about this when we talk about Class of 3000. But, you know, it's just odd. You know, like, have other cartoons on your... I've talked about it too many times. Anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is Shrek 5. The Boss Baby scriptwriter, the guy who wrote the script for Boss Baby, said, I've completed the script for Shrek 5, and it is in progress. It is official. It is happening. It's not something that's not real. It's not like a big joke. This is real. Not Puss in Boots 2, not How to Train Your Dragon 4, not Kung Fu Panda 5, or Furious 5, or Madagascar 5, or anything. Mm-hmm. No.
Kung Fu Panda 4.
4. Not any, no. Shrek 5 is coming back. Or Shrek is just coming back.
I'm not mad at Shrek coming back.
Yeah.
I'm mad that they basically pulled an Ice Age and made this a story that didn't need to be extended.
Exactly. That's a good point. I'm not really excited at all. I mean, I think that there are ways that they could spin it that could be fascinating if they don't use, but they're trying to get the same cast back. That's another issue. I think that if they not rebooted, but, you know, had the kids be the ones that are the new cast, that would still probably fail at the box office. So I think that you have to have Shrek if you're going to do a Shrek movie. It's really weird because
then again, though,
how do you really carry that?
Then again,
what, are they going to pull Logan and be a dark Shrek?
I don't think.
I mean, we have Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life if we want to go dark. It's
no.
You know.
Speaking of that, like I'm going to add on to that. Maybe the meme community might give it a hit at the box office. Maybe.
True. That's a good point. But I mean, there's gonna be memes. There's gonna be memes for emoji movies.
It's gonna be a mixture of nostalgia and meme culture because it has been a few years since a Shrek movie has come out.
2010, 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
talk about relevance.
I don't want it to be a 5. I want it to be a reboot.
See,
it's gonna be a 5, obviously.
But I know.
But if it were to come back, I want it to be a reboot of the original plot.
See,
you don't know about the original plot, do you?
You mean not the locked-in official real plot that?
Like there was a completely different voice actor and everything that died.
So could you explain it?
Basically, the original plot for Shrek was about a teenage ogre, and
That sounds exactly what's gonna happen.
It was a teenage ogre that was like his family was a bunch of ogres and like their business was scaring people and he didn't want to be a part of the family business.
Oh.
And I don't know why they scrapped that. That sounds pretty good, but redone. It's redone, but it sounded like a better plot than Shrek.
I think because that princess, did it still feature the princess at all, or was it just he wanted to do his own thing? Because I think
there was no like official script for it. I don't even think they recorded any lines for it.
It's just
but the voice actor that they wanted for it, he's famous. I know. I don't remember where he was. I think he was from Monty Python, but he died, and they for some reason because of his death they completely changed the script.
Interesting.
Like changed the entire idea of the movie.
Right. That's very weird. That's very strange. I think that
Rebel Taxi talks more about it.
Yeah. Check out that's another cartoon podcast that you can definitely check out in their channel in general. But I think that script idea just sounds a little cliche. You know, like the cool thing about Shrek is that it wasn't as cliche as you would have expected.
It basically parodied every cliche.
Exactly. And so, you know, you had that instead of what would have been, I think, the script that you told me about reminds me a lot of Rock Dog. So you have this sort of very generic thing, and comparatively, you take it to another direction, and I think that that's where the success is. So, yeah. When you say reboot, though, I associate the Shrek original with that what's the song?
Princess Fiona and all that.
Princess Fiona and what's the song?
What's
All Star.
Oh.
I mean, you can't think of Shrek without thinking about All Star.
If they're gonna bring that song back, please
that's
just don't
so
reboot
weird.
it.
That's gonna
do
be
not
so
reboot it. Do not
weird.
remix it. Just keep it.
Have Nicki Minaj sing All Star. You know? She's a big hit. You
know? Don't make the Chainsmokers remix it. Like,
no.
This is going to be my most EDM talk that I'm ever going to speak about on the podcast. Because you don't even know what the fuck a Chainsmokers is.
I know the Chainsmokers. I've listened to them before.
I mean, you probably heard Selfie, but...
Yes. I mean, I thought you were going to say, don't let Fall Out Boy do the remix. Because they did it for Ghostbusters, if you remember? The Ghostbusters.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that.
It would be... They would fit better for, an all-star remix. Anyway, Shrek 5. There's so many ways they could do this, but I think there are only a few ways that would make them revenue at the box office. The reason why, obviously, they're going after Shrek is because it makes $1 billion every single time. This is a franchise that pulls in $1 billion every time that it hits theaters. It never does. It has not failed at that. So I think that they're going to go with something either... It's so weird because I don't know where they would go, but I know that they'll do a good job with it. It's DreamWorks. A lot of the team at DreamWorks has been cut. I mean, they keep losing a lot of employees in terms of just job-wise. They keep cutting back. So, obviously, it's a question as to what they're going to do, what the writers think is the best choice, and it's weird. That whole thing was like, why? Why are we even, of all things... If Shrek is still relevant, then Puss in Boots is still relevant. Puss in Boots was probably the best franchise to keep going, but they didn't.
Can we please stop these continuations with side characters? That's
what you don't like. You don't like the spinoffs?
No, it's not that I don't like them. I just feel like there's too much of them because because we got the Raymond Rabbids cartoon out of that.
Come on, that
giving side characters their own shows.
Okay, that's a good point. But then if we
I'm pretty sure a Minions cartoon is in the works too. I'm betting on it.
I mean, look, it would be logical. There's a Minions 2 movie coming out soon. Minions 2 is confirmed.
I thought Despicable Me 3 was coming out.
Yeah, Despicable Me 3, then Minions 2. Of course, why would they miss out on Minions, dude? It's it made $1 billion because, parents love sending their kids to trash.
Please let Minions die.
Well, first let's let Emoji Movie die.
I'm with Mark on this one. I'm going to be mad if that is actually good.
I'm going to be mad that if it's good, number one. I'm going to be mad if it makes $1 billion as well. Yeah.
The only thing I know about the plot behind it is that there's supposed to be some sort of virus in the phone, and the emojis gotta go fight and fix the virus or defeat the virus. I don't know.
Does something scream Lego Movie to you?
No. I haven't seen the entire Lego Movie. I'm sorry.
A certain team of people have to go and save the world.
Did you honestly expect this movie to be original though?
No. So the thing about Sony Pictures,
I'm asking. That was a rhetorical.
You didn't. Yeah, I know. But the thing about Sony Pictures is they are very reactionary. This is the movie that they would make once they saw the Lego Movie was successful, and obviously that's the case. Hotel Transylvania is literally just seeing Despicable Me be successful. Oh, let's get another movie that has another comedian voice an evil character, and that's it. So they're very reactionary, and their movies are forgettable. So.
The other issue I have with Sony Pictures is that they don't know how to do a trailer.
No.
The Smurfs movie angered me because the theatrical trailer hyped it up. The big mystery of who are these other people. They hyped it up so well.
Yep.
And then when I saw a commercial for it on Cartoon Network, they just spoiled the entire movie.
How do you spoil your main gimmick, your main prize to watch the movie about in a TV spot? What is the logic behind that? Who decided? Let's just reveal it. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just go and reveal everything.
That's how you get people hyped. You gotta keep it a secret. We didn't have to know that there were a female village of Smurfs. We could have kept that surprise because that's something that's
awesome.
Every Smurfs fan has never would have guessed.
Nope.
no, like, I mean, adults would have guessed it, but kids would have been curious because they only know the Neil Patrick Harris Smurfs. Like,
yeah, the crazy thing about this Smurfs movie is, I went to see it last weekend, and it is generic as a kids movie could be, and it's not in most cases original, and it's very much, its humor is very elementary, but it was the best movie to then step forward and make a franchise out of. This had so much sequel potential, but because they had those 2 live-action Smurf movies, they killed themselves at the box office. This thing is not going to make back its budget and will be a bomb.
But let me ask you something.
It's crazy.
If they didn't spoil it, like if they didn't spoil the movie, do you think it would have gotten a better reception?
If they didn't spoil it, that's a good question, because first off, reviewers gave this like a 50%. It's all mixed, and it's not like, no one's saying it's the greatest movie of all time. But I think that a lot of like online reviewers, like YouTubers, would have said, "Oh, well, here's the surprise. Like, there's a big surprise, and they've been hyping this up," and that would have been the main thing.
Right.
I think that would have always been in the back of kids' heads, and more importantly, the kids that are going to go see the movie. That would be in the back of their minds. What's the thing that's going to be exciting to go see? And I don't think it would make a difference. Boss Baby is destroying the box office. I think that they still...
Shockingly.
I'm surprised because, now there are 3 animated movies out. Spark, which was already going to crash and burn. That was not going to ever be number 1.
I haven't seen anything about that.
Spark is like, imagine Ratchet and Clank if it was an unknown property. And then you have Spark.
That sounds like straight to DVD.
Yeah, it does. It looks like straight to DVD. It literally looks like straight to DVD. Then you have Smurfs, which
could have done good if they didn't spoil it. That's like when Cartoon Network spoiled Adventure Time, where they had that whole arc about Finn's new sword, and like the Adventure Time commercials were hyping it up, saying Finn's new sword, and like we didn't see what the sword was.
Yeah, but
Cartoon Network made their own commercial, like premiering all their episodes, and then they say, "Oh, Finn gets a grass sword." You remember that? We talked about that.
I think so.
Not in the podcast, but we talked about it. I
remember the grass sword. I remember seeing the grass sword. I just don't remember the ad campaign for it. But if they did something like that, that is by far just incredibly stupid. Like you
like,
don't.
Is there like some sort of stigma where they don't think kids will like getting surprised?
Oh yeah,
seriously, like
no one likes of all people. When you have surprise birthday parties, it's not for kids. No, kids don't like surprises.
Like if I had a child and they wanted to see the Smurfs movie, I would like not make them watch Smurfs, but I'd show them the original Smurfs and like let them get the build up of why female Smurfs are so important.
Yeah. And I think overall though, I'll just are you gonna see the movie? So I can just.
I'm not gonna see it.
Okay, I'm gonna just spoil it a little bit. But the way I think again, this is the film that has the most sequel potential out of the 3 movies. Mm-hmm. The original Smurfs, which was trash. The second movie that was even worse, and now we have this. And the one thing I'm really glad about is usually moviegoers don't ever go out and acknowledge trash. Like Transformers still makes a lot of money, and the 5th movie was awful. And so, the 5th movie's going.
Fast and Furious 8 got such a positive reception, but that's pretty much Michael Bay's wet dream with race cars.
Dude, it made more money in one weekend than The Force Awakens. This is the opening weekend. It made more money than The Force Awakens. Yep. Welcome to 2017. But no,
like I'm seeing my friends like post bootlegs of it and like record it live and
on
Facebook.
Is it that worth it? Is it?
I don't know. And like,
no, it's
spoiler
not.
alert.
I've seen
Vin Diesel fucking dies. I don't care because I'm not gonna see that movie or support it.
He doesn't die.
Someone was saying that Vin Diesel dies at the end of the movie.
No,
but like not Vin Diesel himself, but his character.
No.
Anyway, I don't fucking know. I don't care. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I'm just curious of how the fuck did street racing turn into we're gonna save the world with cars?
It's all about family. Family.
Tokyo Drift was pushing it. It's like it went from GTA San Andreas level dope to Saints Row, but making itself taken less seriously.
Bennett, yeah, there are. So look, as a Fast and Furious fan, okay, look, as you know, I love cars and I love Fast and Furious. I watched the original all the way up to here. I enjoy the original. I love the number 2. People say they hate number 2. I love all the movies. Okay, I am a huge fan of the movies. It definitely has changed in tone since the third one. I think Fast and Furious 4 was the one where they all shifted and they said, if we're going to make more money, we have to go in a different direction. Now, this is like superhero level. But Fast and Furious 8, you know, making a lot of money. It's cool, whatever. But back to the main point, since this is Cartoon Chat, guys. Don't worry. Go see Fast and Furious 8 if you're interested. And if you're not, don't see it at all. But the thing about...
Directed by Michael Bay on the low.
Probably going to be... I wouldn't be surprised, like 9 or 10 will be. I wouldn't be surprised. But most moviegoers ignore and just keep going to see bad movies. This is the first time where, you know, Smurfs, the first and the second one, were bad movies. Like, they were bottom of the barrel movies.
But they'll take it just for their kids to watch it. That's the only issue.
But it failed. Like, the box office this time, like, for the new Smurfs, The Lost Village, is not good. People aren't seeing this movie anymore. That's good. That means that they think that the Smurfs brand as a whole, because Sony screwed up so badly, they can't take advantage of Smurfs anymore. Which sucks for Smurfs fans, you know, but is great when you think about the fact that they used Smurfs to make a really bad movie. The live action ones were bad.
Yeah.
And this is the
I feel like the only reason the Smurfs movies, the live action Smurfs movies came about was because
of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yes.
Yep.
People were trying to cash in on that idea of
Sony's reaction.
Oh, your favorite cartoon characters are coming to the real world. Like, we don't need that. We can just make fan fiction or something. I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing. Sony is just so reactionary, and they can't just say, let's do something original for once. Let's just, you know, screw what everyone else says. Let's just do something original. And no, let's not do that.
Like, you know what's bad when the actual Alvin and the Chipmunks show is better than the movies.
Yeah.
I really like that show. For some strange reason, I really like that show.
I think it's okay. I mean, I'm not a huge. I'm not a fan,
like the fact that it has its own original songs.
Yeah.
The characters have their own, like, characters in a way. Yeah. It's not like sexualizing chipmunks.
Oh God.
Like there's not necessarily a romantic relationship
between the
chipmunks
females
and the
males. Yeah.
But they just they're kind of like just best friends that fuck around with each other.
Yep.
Get high, probably. I don't know.
Jesus. High on helium. That's how their voices stay high. If you guys have seen Robot Chicken, you know the joke.
Yeah, like, it's a lot more realistic than the actual shows. Like, they don't necessarily, like, try to turn them into this worldwide phenomenon. They're just, like, a bunch of kids just chilling.
Yeah, they try to be as realistic as, you know...
but, like, they happen to be in a band.
Chipmunks that talk and go to school can be as realistic as, you know, realistic as it can be. Last thing before we get into Class of 2000, I have to talk about this. I have not followed Bravest Warriors since, I think, the beginning, since, like, its first season. Like, I think you got me into it. But... yeah,
I haven't watched just the first season yet. But none of you can beat my score on Fly, Catbug, Fly. I'm just saying.
I mean, I love Catbug. I love Catbug. But,
I am Catbug!
Yeah. But I was, like... there are a few things in my life that get me, like... super excited. Star Wars. My girlfriend.
That works both ways. That's a not safe for work joke, kids.
Yes. And Bravest War, and many, obviously, something Cartoon would do, something Nickelodeon would do. Bravest Warriors is like, they're bringing it to TV. That's insane. That's like the biggest, like, dream. That's like never gonna happen. Oh, it's up in the air. How could this ever be possible? Like, oh no, never gonna happen. Then we learned this week that it is actually gonna happen. Like,
yeah, and like,
what?
Now that I know that it's coming to Teletoon, at first I was kind of upset, like saying, "Oh, they should just bring it to Adult Swim." But then I realized that it wouldn't fit on Adult Swim because
I thought that it could slide. I thought it was gonna.
No,
hit Teletoon
because
first
it's
and slide.
not. It doesn't have the certain type of raunch that Adult Swim is looking for. It's more like young adult, like not young adult like our age, but like 14 and 15.
Yeah.
Like it's more in that realm.
It's in that in between then. You know?
And like Canada, their programming has been proven to fit that category, especially with 16. 16 was good. Like I loved 16.
Look, I remember 16. I hated it. I'm just gonna be upfront with you. It was like, look, I want to get back to Foster's and I want to get back to
like it was 16 and the show stoked. Like,
well, they also had Total Drama.
The first season of Total Drama was fine.
Then they kept pushing it like American Idol, and it turned into garbage. You know.
And I really liked 16 because like I'm really into like shows where it's just like teenagers finding themselves and shit. So like, and they didn't.
That's why I like 12 Forever.
They didn't Nickelodeon it, but they didn't Degrassi it either.
Explain Nickelodeon it because Degrassi isn't that Nick?
Degrassi was
CW.
Canadian.
Wasn't that CW?
That was T-Nick.
It was Nick.
Degrassi, like they did a bunch of stuff like talking about suicide and death and like characters died in that show.
That's what you mean. And then Nickelodeon would be
like it wasn't
lighting
just,
keeping it light.
Yeah, basically Victorious and iCarly were like they kidified being a teenager.
Yep. And never reached the more serious issues.
Like, the show was normal, but it was a good normal.
Yeah.
Like, they did mention, like, one gay character, but, like, it wasn't a main character. It was just, like, the girl, Nikki. I think she had a new coworker or someone new in the mall came, and she was trying to figure out... Yeah, she just happened to be gay, and they
never really, like, pushed on the idea of it, and, you know...
Yeah. And like they talked about sex, but they didn't talk about sex. And like they talked about they made a really funny period joke too. Like
that reminds me of what's that show that we both watched it?
Andy Mack.
That's
he was
changing my view of Disney Channel. One show at a time though. One show at a time. If this starts a wave of quality content, I will be impressed.
My guest.
I will be impressed, but if it is the only show and they keep doing these female sitcom garbage trash bottom of the barrel shows, they're not changing my opinion at all. It has to be more than just one show that will change everything. It has to be, let's keep rolling this along, you know, because back in 2010 when it was just Adventure Time and regular show, it's like that CN reel was still in our heads. Just because there were two, it's like, that's cool, but we need more of a change. It wasn't until like 2014 we were like, oh, they did a really good job of bringing it back. Remember, it took time. So
yeah,
same thing for Disney.
But like when it comes to Bravest Warriors, being on Teletoon, it fits a lot more than Adult Swim ever would. Like
logically, yeah.
Like again, because it doesn't have that amount of raunch, like, and that's why Frederator wouldn't greenlight Rebel Taxi show and pitch like. Because he tried to pitch it to them, and because they said that they don't really do super raunchy stuff, but they don't do super kiddie stuff either. So it has to be like split in the middle, because like it has Adventure Time's humor with slight
maturity.
Yeah.
I think that. Now this is a good. I think this is a logical question. Do you think that Nickelodeon would you know they missed the boat with Adventure Time?
No.
You don't think they would say
no?
Or you don't think that
no. Now Nicktoons
you don't think
Network...
that Nelvana would say and Nick with like offering them money would say, Team Nick, you get a slot, or Nicktoons Network, you get a slot. Not on the you don't get on the main
its prime, it would have fit on Nicktoons Network.
Of course.
In Nicktoons Network's prime.
Of course. Yeah. But still, logically, it would fit better on that than it would Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just... It would be a funny revenge shot, though, where it's like, we missed Adventure Time, but Let's try and get this guy. Let's get this.
I wouldn't say it was revenge
Not
because even
missed opportunity. Let's try and do
Simon Pamworker, like Simon, he did some stuff for Nickelodeon. He doesn't see it as revenge. He just sees it as more work and more money in his pocket. But
yeah. Understandable. Yeah, of course. But
I applaud Teletoon for putting it on their channel. I don't know if they asked them or if Pendleton asked Teletoon. Yeah, but I'm kind of glad that it found a good home. Yeah. I feel like they're gonna treat it well. Because I don't even know if Adventure Time Island is still like
better than Cartoon Network would if they had it.
Yeah.
Teen Titans Go 24 hours a day. Then
and like,
one little show after that.
Beforehand, like we were talking about, like, is it gonna be a whole new show or is it gonna be like a continuation, or like they're just gonna like play reruns of
Bravest Warriors? The series itself.
I feel like it is just gonna be like play the actual series, and whoever's like watching the web series is just like gonna be up to par on like the web series and further down. Kind of like how when a subbed anime gets turned dubbed and goes to TV, like. There are obviously people that are still going to watch the sub version to keep ahead. And they're just going to be the people that start from dubbed so they can get up to their own personal speed.
Yeah. I mean, I used to watch Toonami, for instance, to keep up with anime. Now it's like I watch sub, and it's like it will not reach Toonami for a while.
Yeah, just so like how...
it takes time,
And just like how... people, like, when they got tired of waiting for the anime for Attack on Titan Season 2 to come out, they went and read the manga, but then even the manga stopped production as Attack on Titan Season 2 was in production.
Exactly. Very interesting. I think that, this is a great move. It keeps the series networking to other people. It keeps it expanding,
Yeah.
So other people are viewing it and it's just getting more attention. It's not coming out until 2018 on Teletoon. It will be a while until it actually hits the channel, but still, having that brand out there is just, I think, great. Because it's a solid show. It's not like trash. It's not like it's coming from, it's not like it's the worst web series that we've ever seen. It's one of the best web series we've ever seen. And it's getting recognition on television.
If Bee and Puppy Cat got put on Teletoon, I'm moving to Canada. Like, point blank, like, no discussion, I'm moving to Canada as soon as they say, oh, new series coming to Teletoon, eh? Bee and Puppy Cat, eh?
Yeah.
I'm packing my bags, getting my visa, my passport. I'm going to Canada. Like...
That would be, my God. I mean, if it becomes I think it's just interesting right now. This is an era where maybe 10 years ago a web series would be thought of as hitting its lucky break if it was getting on TV. But now more people are watching YouTube and going online to watch content than on TV. So it's like, again, this is networking Bravest Warriors, but are they going? They're going to get a substantial amount of more viewers, but they're probably already going to have more viewers today than they would if they started on TV today.
Right.
It's just crazy to think that,
And, like, I feel like this will definitely, like, lead to more success of, like, animated pilots that are on YouTube coming on TV more often. Because, like, we need Becky Prim. We need Obituary.
What if Becky Prim got on Teletoon? Then are you moving to Canada? What if they said, we are greenlighting this?
Becky Prim is a little bit too raunchy for Teletoon. Because, like, they curse and pull out. They curse and pull out knives on each other. But speaking of Becky Prim, the one thing I wanted to mention about Becky Prim
is such a good short.
I see the person who animates Ren and Stimpy animating that show.
Oh, really?
Yes. It looks like something he would animate. I forget the name of who he is, but it definitely speaks that anime.
Yeah, that's a good. I was trying to think of, like, I was just trying to go back and think about how it would look. Yeah, I'd love to see that. I think it'd be great. Becky Prim is another one that I think. I mean, we've talked about this multiple times now. It needs to be greenlit. It needs to get out there. It's just a great premise,
and I think the issue is that the person that made Becky Prim, they haven't pitched it anywhere yet.
I mean, that's a good point.
They were just using. They were using YouTube as kind of like their focus group.
If they're using it for their focus group, and everyone's saying show it, it.
Like, it's already hit 1 million views, so... And I'm pretty...
Show someone, please.
And Welcome to My Life is about to hit 1 million views in probably a week, so...
That is another short... I wanted to talk about that, too. We'll talk about that here right now, actually. I was surprised, because... This, and we'll talk... Again, this is another thing that I wanted to talk about with Class of 3000. Cartoon Network, they do experimental series, but they've sort of been more of like, let's make these animated shows for cash grab mentality or for a certain reason. It's not like a decade ago when it was, or 15 years ago when it was, let's keep pushing these experimental cartoons. I thought this was just like a breath of fresh air where it wasn't fast-paced and has to go zoom and, you know, like...
Makes a bunch of, like, weird references and, like...
like, let's do, like, selfies and all. Like, no, it's just a dude chilling
Living
out.
life.
That's it. It's just a slice of life. Have a good time. Just... It was calm and it was moving at its own pace. And
like, I remember someone had said that, like, it should be... If Cartoon Network doesn't take it, it should be on Adult Swim. And... When I watched this, and I thought to myself, if this was on Adult Swim, T-Kesh would most definitely be a fucking stoner. Like,
yeah.
He has all the stoner mentalities. Yeah. Like, it's too perfect.
No, that can fit perfectly, yeah.
But T-Kesh in general, like, that show is so aesthetically, like, Welcome to My Life is so aesthetically pleasing, and its normality is so great.
Exactly. That is what I love about it. And look, to all of you the great thing is, you know, I saw this, I think, in my subscription box when it first went live. So the first thing that I saw were a bunch of comments about Gumball.
Doing the Mighty P review.
I gotta do that. I'm doing it this week. I'm doing it this week, for God's sakes. By the way, someone did that on Animation Nation, which aired yesterday.
Also,
so people are still talking. I will do it, guys. For the 80th time. It's not like I'm not doing it. It's just that I have scripts for different things that I'm already placing out.
You should just make this into your Eddy and Eddy review like Rebel Taxi did. Because, like, everyone was begging him to do Eddy and Eddy. And, like, like, he didn't do it until, like, his 100th episode.
Jesus. I mean, yeah, I could do something like that. But it'll probably go out in the next 2 weeks. But, God, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
We were talking about Welcome to My Life.
But no, like, the first thing I saw in the YouTube comments, because it was like 5,000 views by the time I saw it. And like the first thing I saw were a bunch of people saying, "Oh, this looks like Gumball." And when I came back though, what I loved was, and you told me this, was people were responding and saying, "No, this isn't Gumball. Watch it all the way," and truly giving this show a chance. And I love that.
And like I'd explain this to you, is that you can't say this is stealing from Gumball because Gumball, like animation wise, Gumball is a wide variety of different animation styles.
Yep.
So you can't steal from Gumball if it's already a show that's like based off of not even millions, but like just a lot of animation styles, and like because that's so redundant. Like that's such a dumb concept. Because if that's the case, then Gumball is ripping off everybody.
Right. You can't apply. The rules do not apply. But yeah, I think that this short deserves a series, but I don't think that it works. I just don't see it working on New Cartoon Network because it just under the new president. I can't remember her name, but the current president's style is not. Let's do a slow series that doesn't fit.
It's just her style. Let's throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Her style is let's get Teen Titans Go and Super Noobs and these shows that are just so fast paced and rapid, and then the shows that are appreciative and of moving at their own pace, like Steven Universe and other cartoons in that nature. They barely get shown. So I just don't know where I could find. I feel like this has always been my theory. Like, they cut adult viewer ratings out and like just focus on if kids are watching it. Yep, the 2-11 demographic.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of fucked up if my theory is right. Like, they'll see types of. That's like if you like you took your content, right?
And I only looked at kids viewers?
Yeah, like you took like the age category, like the age what's the word?
Demographic.
The demographic. And you only took like the kids that were like 14 and younger instead of your 18 and over viewers. And you only focused on your 14 and younger viewers and just started making those creepy kids videos on YouTube posts.
What are you talking, like Prop Tropica or what?
No. Okay. I'm dying.
It's an old reference. But,
so can I explain?
If you check out my old channel, Digital Gamers Gamers Network, there is a in-depth
Let's
play of Pop Tropica from
Pyroth Dragonoid.
Pyroth Dragonoid, who is older than the age range and grade. But you're talking about creepy YouTube content, but look,
cause like have you never seen those kids videos? Like on YouTube.
You mean the YouTube? You mean the kids who make YouTube content? I'm actually
not kids who make YouTube content.
What?
Adults that make content for kids.
No. What are you talking about? Because I haven't checked out YouTube Kids yet. I don't.
H3 has done a more in depth like analysis of it, but it's like these weird things where like it's YouTubers dressing up in costumes, playing around with people, like playing around with each other as superheroes and Disney princesses and shit. Like the most famous is Spider-Man versus Elsa, and like at first you just see, oh, it's just some superheroes playing around with each other, but then it gets darker as you continue to watch it. You start seeing fucking Spider-Man groping Elsa, and
okay, all right, you know
there's literally one called Baby Elsa Eats Poop or something like that. Like, this is targeted towards kids, and it pops up on the YouTube Kids app. So
look, I mean, I think YouTube Kids in itself is weird. I mean,
it's unnecessary
in the first place. And I think the fact that they don't sort out the content, like the
again, like it's just the robot.
It's robots, and it's not properly sorting out content that it should be. But it's so weird, and I think that demographic choice as well, just from Cartoon Network's perspective, is very interesting. You know, but you know what I don't know what to really think about that, because again, like we're talking about, this isn't the Cartoon Network of 15 years ago. This is under the current president. She's not doing something. She sees it in a completely different perspective than any other tenure of any other president in Cartoon Network history. So for instance, the guy who went before her did the whole CN reel and did all that, you know, the stuff we hate.
Yeah.
But one thing he did do that I appreciate is he started CN reel, saw the reaction, got rid of it over time.
But stepped down.
And stepped down in the process, you know. So I think, he was the one that brought in Regular Show and Adventure Time. And so I think that, and got Star Wars The Clone Wars on the channel, which hypothetically was something that kept the ratings pretty strong.
Got Symbionic Titan removed.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good retort. Okay, I can't. But he didn't make the new Ben 10 reboot.
Ben 10 Alien Force was dope. I'll give.
No, I'm talking Ben 10 2017. He didn't make that. He didn't tell people. He didn't tell a team to say, let's do the bare minimum and make a series that is literally as low as you can.
Yeah, Ben 10 Alien Force was like definitely dope. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of super serious cartoons. Like I used to get bored at the Justice League.
Same here.
But then when
there's certain things that
but when Teen Titans came out, like,
I thought you were about to say Go. I was like, what?
Yeah, I almost said it.
Like pause myself. Lips don't say it.
Like no.
But you said you were watching Teen Titans and...
Like, I like that more than Justice League because I like the balance of humor.
Yeah. That was when, you know, Beast Boy would do his one-liners. And
like, there was, like, kind of like... It treated itself like an anime, essentially.
Yep. One of the interesting things that I found is that, you know, I think that the reason why action anime has become really big now is because, the current slate of animation over here isn't as prevalent. You know, that we don't see as much here. Like, back in the mid-2000s, you had Danny Phantom, and you can name, like, 10 or 15 of them all at once, happening at the same time. Today, you don't have that. And I think just from 2008 forward, you know? There
were times where you had to, like, sit back and say, oh, all of these shows that I like are coming on at the same time, and I don't know which one to watch.
Yep.
Like, that's the type of stuff that we used to happen back in the day. Yep. Like,
the Nick versus Cartoon Network was a thing.
Again, you know? I'm not saying bring back 90s cartoons. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying bring back 90s tactics.
I just want
pitches and promotion and like show and like the ways that they
passion and effort into your content. Come on, this reboot trash is ridiculous. Like, I don't know what they're doing. You know, they just seem so lazy. It seems so like you're not looking 10 years down the line.
Look at what they did to Samurai Jack. And
it's brilliant.
If you're gonna do a reboot, do what they did to Samurai Jack. You don't have to make it super raunchy and put in blood and shit. Nope. We're not telling you to make it edgy, but provide attention to detail as to what made the show great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be just like the original, but just pay attention to detail and make it great.
Exactly.
Kids WB will be right back.
Yup, after these messages.
And we hope that you'll be back too.
And now, back to an all-new Pokemon on Kids WB.
And with that, I think that would be the perfect segue into a throwback cartoon. Let's talk about Class of 3000. This cartoon, you know, whether it's the animation, whether it's just the episodes in general, the characters, the music. This is a cartoon that is so underappreciated and lost under the rubble of its time, like lost under like where it was at its time. And I remember being a kid, you know. I remember being, by then I was like, when it started airing, I was 9, and in that it was the time when all these cartoons were starting to be slid away, because of course it aired at the end, toward the end of 2006, and it was going on through 2008. This was the time when a lot of these iconic action series, like I want to say, My Life as a Teenage Robot and Danny Phantom, were all
hype for Class of 3000. Like, there was a legit event where they were premiering the show.
Right.
Like, there was marching bands, and they had commercials where people were camping out of the venue. Like, it was so... Class of 3000 was so hyped up.
Yeah.
And I'm so sad that the show was short-lived, and it wasn't even the show's fault.
It was that lawsuit.
Yeah.
It was the fact that apparently there was a pitch in the year, I think, 2000, where a guy had said, I had pitched a show that was very similar to this, and the show got taken down because of this apparent
lawsuit
thing where, you know,
the show eventually became too expensive to
keep going.
Yeah. Like that once you start to analyze the show, you start to see how expensive it was.
The animation is gorgeous.
Not just the standard animation of the entire show itself, but like first you got the big voice actors, because there were a lot of familiar voice actors.
Yep.
You had
Tom Kenny is particularly
you had the music. Like, you had to pay all of those musicians to do all of those different styles of music. Like, it wasn't like one guy just doing all of the songs. It was different artists in all of that every time.
Yep.
There were the different animation styles for the music videos, and like when you try to make 2 seasons of that, you gotta have a decent budget. Like, this was a $6 million show. And that's like a...
It's crazy to think about.
That's indie movie budget.
Yeah. It's crazy, you know.
and like the characters were like
I was trying to follow you up, but you were
like people like I was watching reruns of the show and people were talking about, oh, like these characters had so many racial stereotypes, blah blah blah, and I'm like, no,
that's
like and even still, like it's Atlanta. The show is based in Atlanta.
Exactly.
Like, have you not seen the show Atlanta? Like, that's kind of how diverse Atlanta, Georgia is.
Yeah.
Like, you have the snooty white people, you have the uptight, and then you have the ghetto. And, like, that's what made these characters so real, because they lived in a city, a town that, like, appealed to their characters.
The first joke of the entire show is is when Little D gets on a bus and says, "Hey man, you made me lose my wheels or my transport." And the bus driver says, "Don't worry, the kind citizens of Atlanta will assist you." And like cuts immediately to a guy in a pawn shop saying, "This has been on my life since we came over in the 1600s. How much will you pay? How much? It's worth a lot."
Like, you can tell Andre 3000 put his heart into this show, and like he grew, like he put his heart and soul into this show, and like how relatable like it was to his life, and how like growing up in Atlanta, like there used to be commercials of him talking about the show and like where the show came from and all of these ideas, and like he said, Lil D reminded him a lot of himself back when he was young. Like, when he created the character, Lil D. And where the name Sonny Bridges came from, because there was a saxophone player that used to, like, perform on a bridge.
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful, like, how much attention...
That he pulled passion into a show.
Like, attention to detail, like, how much attention to detail that he put into the show is, like, magnificent.
Exactly.
And I hoped that it would inspire more musical shows. And
we don't see that. The level. One thing that I remember, I watched this when you talked about let's do a Class 3000 episode, because you were the one that recommended it.
Yeah.
You know, and I started like just watching episodes, and I was like, these characters, like, and I wasn't like the series itself sucked me in, and I remembered how great of a show and how much care they put into it, and you can see it, right? You can see it in the characters. You can see it in the tone, and it's weird because it's not a show that I ever think would be on Cartoon Network. If you looked at it, Cartoon Network, like again, we did this comparison. It wouldn't be a show
belong with Cartoon Network, Nick, or Disney. Like,
no,
you don't. I don't know where the BT maybe back in its prime, because they used to play.
Of course, they used to do. They were better with themselves back then. Now it's Love and Hip Hop and a bunch of.
Well, not BT, but VH1.
Whatever. You know, the whole reality. Anyway.
Because, like, they used to play reruns of the Proud Family.
Yeah.
Like.
You know, good positive shows. That's, you know, it's weird that we have this status where this is such a great show, but it doesn't fit anywhere. And it didn't fit back then, but you could tell that Cartoon Network as a whole was Cartoon Network. It had shows with experimentation and passion put into them. You know, that was the 2000s that was the era of the 2000s of Cartoon Network, when they would actually push and make these shows like Foster's, and they'd make shows that would just be great on their own and be special in their own ways, and really showed off that here's this, over here's that, over here's this, and here's Class of 3000. That's something that we just don't have anymore, and I'm disappointed in the fact that, you know,
and like I loved that this show, like, it appealed to everybody, man. Like, this show was black as fuck. It was black as fuck. It was white as fuck, Asian as fuck. Like, anybody could relate to this goddamn show.
Yep.
Like, and I appreciate that. And like, they could relate to the characters, and it most likely inspired a lot of musicians. Like I told you in the beginning, I performed one of the songs from this show in a talent show.
Exactly,
like,
in middle school.
Yeah,
middle school. That's insane.
It was the dopest shit ever. Like, I got such a positive feedback. Like, people were cheering. Like, I was dancing. I was rapping. Like, I loved this show, and like I loved that it gave me the courage to not only buy its CD because the music was so good, but to perform it.
It pushed you as a person.
Yeah. Like this show was so motivational.
You know, that's something that you don't really you don't understand how far animation can take someone until you look at something like your case, where Class of 3000 pushed you that far. And yeah, the characters are incredibly relatable, and everyone can find themselves in one of those characters, particularly, Sonny Bridges, There are so many episodes where you have these different characters looking in particular points of view, and it felt so down to earth, as wacky as it was. So yeah, it just was very it's just great, I can't. It's one of those series where, look, when I was a kid, I saw it, but it wasn't on. I wasn't tuning in as often as it was on, so I don't have as much nostalgia to it as you do. But I do remember it, and it is a really good show. Yeah,
like it was such an inspiring show, dude. Like, oh man, like I loved this show so much. Yeah. It leaves you speechless.
Of course.
Of like how good, like, because you can't compare it to nothing else.
I mean,
like, I'm not saying that the show was 100% perfect.
No.
It's there. It's getting there. Mm-hmm. But it was just so good. And it was too good for Cartoon Network. Like,
too good for Cartoon Network.
Too good for Nick. Too good for Disney. Like,
it definitely. I think that the great thing about this show is that the interesting thing about the show is that I think that it should still be on, because I think that it's still relevant today. I think that there are
like the humor, like there are not only the humor, dated humors, but like,
of course. But I think that it stands on its own and is able to capture kids in a way that is good for kids. Particularly kids that want to get into the music industry, and
they even had an episode where, like, Lil D, he wanted to get into the music scene. Like, he got signed to a record label, and granted, not all record labels are bad, but the one that he got signed to in particular was very scammy, and they only used him and his talents to push a product.
Gotcha.
So, like, it's so relevant to, like, what goes on, and, like, the characters and, like, their experiences and, like, what they go through. Especially Eddy. Like, I don't mean to get all political on y'all or nothing, but, like, there was pretty much an episode where Eddy realized his white privilege.
What was the episode about?
It was his birthday.
I'm just trying to,
It was his birthday, and, like, it was, Sonny was teaching the kids about blues music, and how blues is, like, when you make a blues song, like, you talk about your struggles and your strifes. And, like, when he was singing his song, he was talking about all the good things that goes on, and, like, how, I got my new Ferrari, I went swimming in my pool, and, like, my daddy bought me a new helicopter, and it was really cool. Like, and then Sonny had basically sent him on an adventure because he gave him a compass for his birthday. So, like, he was supposed to follow the compass all throughout Atlanta, and Lil D came with him to show him the struggles of, like, what it's like to live in Bankhead. Like, what it's like to live in Bankhead and, like, being in the hood and, like, having to catch the bus.
Again, that's something that
getting your stuff stolen. Like,
the fact that they show different tiers, and the fact that they show what's real out there is another thing that you just don't get from the normal cartoon.
Yeah.
I just really appreciated that. I really appreciate the care that they put into the show, I think that it's, if there's one show particularly, and we always talk about how 90s kids always want shows to come back, and it's like out of nostalgia. But this is out of appreciation.
Class of 3000, like,
it's out of appreciation. It's out of care. It's out of the way that
it's not even that, like, we want it out of nostalgia, but, like, kids need shows like Class of 3000.
Exactly.
They need to be exposed to reality and have these references. Like, there are so many references that, like, kids wouldn't even get. Like, the movie references and, like, the hood references. And, like, There's so many references that kids and adults would get. Like, I love this show to death, and I'll still laugh at the stuff that goes on in the show. Like, it's the same thing with Freaknik.
Right.
Freaknik the musical. I don't know if you watched that.
No.
You should definitely watch that. We should talk about that too.
I will. We have to talk about that.
Like, and we need more like musically driven shows as well.
Because there's a way in which that music can really
inspire,
influence, and can amplify an animated series as well. I mean, we see that in Steven Universe, for instance, which is not a musical show, but when it utilizes music, it amplifies the series as a whole. So, I think that Class of 3000 is just that rare, I'd go so far as to say it's a gem, because it's rare to find something that is so good and so appreciative of what it is for everyone and the status of everyone. And just give a window to kids of what's out here. And you don't really get that anywhere else. Or you get it in rare places like Class of 3000. So, this is a show that I think definitely needs to keep going and, get out there and be able to have a reach in other places. But
if Class of 3000 itself doesn't come back, there needs to be a
5000.
There just needs to be a show like it.
Yep.
A show that's musically driven, has down to earth and realistic characters that can learn realistic lessons and go through like real life stories and learn about themselves and just have like that good character development. Steven Universe is starting to hit those notes. Mm-hmm. Same thing, just like how I keep saying that Steven Universe is the true Teen Titans reboot. Yeah, Brian is confused.
I have to.
Can I explain? So the reason I feel like...
Wait, here's what we're going to do. Cut. Here's what we're going to do. Explain this, because I want to have this in a separate video where it says, Steven Universe is the new Teen Titans reboot, because I think that you would make a really good case. I also want you to do I want to do a separate video as well where it's like, it's not a part of the podcast where the rant about NLP. I still want to do that. So
yeah, of course.
I want to do that as well, but I think that if you want to talk about it now, you can.
I mean, we can, then we can further progress it on a different video.
Yeah.
So the reason I feel as though Steven Universe is the true Teen Titans Go reboot is because they have good music, and Hi Puffy on Me definitely did a good job.
Of course.
They kind of treat the show as if it was an anime. Mm-hmm. They have the good balance of action and comedy. They have true down-to-earth characters that you can relate to.
Yep.
They have they go through real-life situations despite them being superheroes and having supernatural powers. You can relate to these characters that are, most definitely can be fictional, but, if they were real people, you could totally relate to them. Yeah. And Teen Titans Go has all of the... I keep saying it!
Steven Universe...
Steven Universe has those traits that Teen Titans most definitely had. And I know the 90s kids are frothing at the mouth right now.
I think 90s kids will be angry, but I think 90s kids will be angrier at what I'm going to say. I think Steven Universe is better than the original Teen Titans. I think that just in terms of the way in which what it's accomplished...
This isn't an angry reaction. This is a dark thinking reaction.
No, I'm just saying that logic, everyone has their own point of view, but I just think that Steven Universe has done more, because, look, everyone loves Teen Titans, but it was not generic, it was special in its own way, just as Ben 10 was, but it was another action series. Steven Universe does the action, but it does so much more. I think it steps into different directions, and it features different tones, and it goes in different directions, like I said before, that you don't have and you never had in Teen Titans. So I appreciate, and I think that Steven Universe is a greater and more important show than Teen Titans. As much as I love the DC Universe and as much as I love Teen Titans, I think that, that series, Steven Universe, is better overall. That's just me, though.
That's most definitely debatable.
Yeah, easily debatable. I could imagine that a lot of comments will say otherwise, but yeah. I think that'll wrap this episode of Cartoon Chat.
Most definitely. This is a pretty good talk.
Was awesome. As always, not always. I keep saying always, because I do as always. Stay tuned for more on most of my videos, so I just go back to that every time. But joining me today, Austin from AJet. Guys, find him on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook,
Instagram,
YouPorn,
South,
and any other sources. Of course, find me on Athemocracy, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Brian Swan, and as always, stay tuned for more.